Many say that men and women will never be equal because of their differences. Men are said to be the strongest one, while women are said to be the weakest one. If we are talking physically, what about female athletes who also have the same muscles as men? What about female construction workers who are also able to lift heavy objects on their shoulders? If we are talking about physics right now, is it still said to be unequal after all the facts in real life say otherwise? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Zahra Sahri, speaking to all of you right here as a woman who values peace and equality, as a woman who deserves everything to myself and be myself, but above all, that I am a human who wants to believe that equality is not only about gender, but it's about views, principles, and knowledge. Above all, it's about the fairness and justice between each other. But first, let me thank you for all people who have been able to fight against the severity problem, because this issue is one point on SDGs, which is number 5, is gender equality. So here, we are talking about gender equality, right? We should know first what is gender concept are. Gender is the difference between men and women in roles, functions, and responsibilities they carry out, which is a form of social construction that can change according to the times. First, let us talk about women's perspective. Due to the current international facts reported by the WHO, it is stated that globally women and girls are 14 times more likely than men to die during an emergency. There are also 26 million women and girls worldwide who are in dire need of humanitarian aid. For example, first in Afghanistan, women face serious challenges with healthcare, lack of food, and limited education. Second thing, in Congo, there are 30,000 cases gender-based violence reported in 2023, and for sure numerous cases go unreported. And now in Palestine, Gaza, 180 pregnant women give birth each day in horrific conditions without access to proper health care, medications, or even specialized doctors. And now even at least 9,000 women have been killed. Same means like 63 deaths a day. Women are also reported to have not been able to fairly consider their own decisions, where data from the SDGs themselves note that the role of women in making decisions is still far from the target, namely only 26% in the national parliament, 36% in local government, and 28% in managerial positions. And what about in Indonesia, our country itself? According to the annual records or Catahu in Bahasa, the National Commissions on Violence Against Women recorded 338,000 cases of gender-based violence against women in 2022, and this is increased from all over year. You know what is cruel in our country is that it turns out that those who commit violence repeat themselves against those who have already become victims. And there are is the one who should protect them all, namely public officials, medical personnel, members of the military, and others. That who should be at the forefront protecting women who have been victims have repeatedly without feeling ashamed and feeling that they have are victims who are already vulnerable and have no problem being taken advantage of this situation. So we can call this is already equal. In our quest for a better world, it is disheartening to witness the persistent challenges that hinder progress toward gender equality. We must address these issues head on, of course, acknowledging that gender equality is not just a women issue, but a human right issue that requires the collective efforts of all individuals, regardless of gender. So, the second thing will be how about men's perspective? We all know that the gender equality is only about women issue, but honestly is about both issue. Because men also face gender issues in their lives. Since childhood, men are taught not to have a feeling or heart because they are said to be weak. Men are taught not to do housework because even parents feel that housework should be done by their sister, or we can call it by women. Isn't that also an act of injustice that men experience? Because men are also human beings, right? Who were created to have hearts and feelings. Because nowadays, many people think that men who are cry is a weak person. Men who work at home is sissies. and men who respect women are said to be the cowardly. This can be interpreted as toxic masculinity, where men must follow society's rules to be brave, strong, and most able to be fight. You know, the fact is that a lot of a gender-based violence against men is hidden due to this stereotype. Who even blames why men can be victims when they should be protector? Isn't this also proof that equality has not been achieved? So, ladies and gentlemen, the main problem at hand is stop normalizing all gender issues into a culture which must pass down to the next generation. Because please break the chain of the gender problems by changing your perspective. Changing our perspective is the key word to equality is achieved. Because here, equality is how to treat women well, how to make both parties feel safe and comfortable, how women can make their own decisions without any judge, and how men can cry without being seen as weak. Because here, equality is not only about how equals you are, but it's about fairness and justice to each other. And in the scope of public health itself, how can women live safely with quarantine health without any differences in rights in health, differences in health education, women health, especially as a mother, they will be able to promise a bright future for children and for our country. Also, they can reduce the number of maternal and infant deaths, which is will ultimately improve the health status of the community. So, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, to achieving this point of SDGs number 5 requires a collective commitment to fostering gender equality and building peaceful mind and peaceful stereotype in society. As individuals, of course, as women, I have the power to contribute to this global effort through advocacy, education, and active participation. Because especially in education, it plays a pivotal role in fostering equality. Empowering women and men through education, meaning empowers entire communities. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am Safiyah Sahri. Balance, peace, and equality, don't forget. Thank you so much for listening me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.